Hey, Tom here. Welcome to my channel, Tom Loves DIY. Most of us use these blow-up pillows. And they work, but you know, you roll around and it moves back and forth and it's not very soft. So in working on my other projects with things like the sleeping bag, I've come up with a lot of scraps of Climashield, the insulation that I use to supplement the down in the packable throw. So how about making a small pillow to go on top of your inflatable? Quick and easy. I actually happen to have this bag that I've sewn for another project that it didn't work out on, but it's about the right size for this. And I can stuff in a whole bunch of scraps of Climashield and it'll make a nice little pillow. I'll get to that. Working on this pillow, I have a little bit of the strapping left that I use to modify my Trichology inflatable pillow. And I think this will be just about the right amount to put in here so that if I use this pillow on something else, it will be able to be held in place and not move around. Since the Trichology pillow straps run in this direction, I'm going to run this one down the center this way. I think that'll be enough. It's going to be pretty tight, so we'll give it a try. So I'm going to stitch this in, keeping in mind that you want this on the outside. So when I stitch it, and I've ripped a little bit of the seam here to get an opening, this is going to be on the inside of the bag, which will turn out to be the outside. And I'll do that on both sides. I think that'll be sufficient to have just one strap around the middle, and it should still be pretty comfortable. When I turned this bag inside out to put the strap in, I noticed that all the edges were coming unraveled, which is what happens with this kind of material. So I got out my trusty torch and very lightly went along every edge to seal them over a little bit. You know, you melt them. You do have to be careful doing that, because if you get it too hot, it will shrivel up and you'll end up with this kind of crimped in like that, and it makes it really tough to stitch and use. So gentle, quick, and you can always go back and hit it again. Don't do too much at one time. I've got a bunch of pretty random scraps of Climashield here. A couple of long ones, some small ones, one fairly large piece left over from the last project when I did the new hood for the old sleeping bag. You know, I think these will be okay. I normally would tack stitch these together by hand, but I'm feeling kind of lazy, so I think I'm going to just put them inside the bag, get them as straight as possible, and stitch the bag closed and call it a day. I've completed putting in the elastic strap with this bag inside out, and I've turned it right side out. You can see it's there. Not quite even. I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch too far on this side, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. It should work. Next, I'm going to stuff it with scraps of Climashield and stitch the end closed and see how it works on my Trichology pillow. So I finished stitching up the edge. Well, actually, no, I didn't. Missed a little spot there. Cut it on this side, but this one must have been tucked in a little bit, or I don't know. Anyway, I'll go back and fix that. But overall, I'm not super happy with it. I tried it out on the floor and it's fairly comfortable, but this is kind of warm. So this may, in this form, be a cool weather type pillow. And I think what I'm going to do, because I don't like the way this is crunching this down, is I'll snip it in the middle and I'll put in a couple of inches of this heavy-duty polyester ribbon, and that will loosen it up, because it's just about at the limit of its stretch. It doesn't need to be that much. It'll stay in place without that. I'll make those fixes and then I'm going to call it done. I stitched in about a 5-inch long piece of the heavy-duty ribbon. Don't think you can see it, but it's about from here to here with, of course, about a 3/4 inch overlap for the stitching. And it does still crunch it down a little, but much less. So I think I'm happy with this. I think this is going to work. It's very warm. I did re-stitch on the edge here where I missed it the last time. So there you go. Using scraps of Climashield and a little bit of ripstop that I had laying around, I've made a comfy little pillow. I'll weigh it and I'll add that into the description.